The sky above Europa had always been strange, but tonight it looked wrong. Dr. Lina Moreau stood inside Observation Dome 12, staring up through the glass ceiling. Above her, the mighty planet Jupiter loomed, filling half the sky like a giant swirling god. Its thick clouds were usually orange, red, and white, always in motion. But now, something was happening. The colors were fading. It started an hour ago, just a shadow at first, stretching across Jupiter's equator. Then more shadows appeared, moving faster than any known storm. The red and white bands were disappearing. Lina's breath fogged the glass. She tapped her wrist screen. Station log 47. Unidentified planetary event observed on Jupiter. Sky darkening. Shadows increasing. Cause unknown. Her voice shook. Behind her, the door slid open. Commander Ryland stepped in, his boots heavy on the metal floor. He was tall, gray-haired, and always calm. "Doctor," Report Lina turned to him, her eyes wide. "Sir, you need to see this." Ryland looked up. For a moment, he said nothing. Then he tapped his earpiece. "Control, this is Commander Ryland. Full crew alert. Get all eyes on Jupiter." Now, minutes later, the other scientists and engineers crowded into the dome. They all stared upward. No one spoke. Then the station lights flickered. Lina's heart jumped. She glanced at Ryland. He frowned and checked his screen. "Power stable," he said. "No reason for that flicker." "Maybe the solar array," someone asked. "No," Lina said. "We're still pulling full energy. Something's interfering. Another flicker. Longer this time." The dome lights dimmed and stayed that way. Outside, Jupiter's clouds were almost black. The familiar great red spot was gone. Then came the sound. It started as a low hum, like the vibration of metal. Lina felt it in her bones. Others grabbed their heads. The hum grew louder, rising like a song from deep underground. But they were not underground. They were floating above Europa's frozen surface in the cold silence of space. "Where is that coming from?" Ryland shouted. "Not the station," said Erie, the communications officer. It's outside." "It's Jupiter." Lina stared at the black sky. The shadows had formed a perfect ring around the planet. She saw lights inside the ring, flashes like lightning, but too regular, too bright. Her voice barely a whisper, she said, "That's not a storm." "What is it?" Ryland asked. "I don't know, but it's not natural." Quote, "The lights formed patterns now, sharp lines and circles, moving in ways clouds never could. The hum outside became a pulse. The glass dome shook. Suddenly, the station went dark. All lights off. The hum stopped. For 5 long seconds, there was only silence. Then, the emergency lights came on, bathing the room in red. Everyone was frozen in place. Ryland's voice broke the silent system's status. Lina checked her wrist power grid offline. "Comms offline. Backup running at 12% Europa base. This is survey ship Calypso. Do you read?" A voice crackled through the speakers. Everyone jumped. Erie scrambled to respond. "Calypso, this is Europa base. We read you. What's happening up there?" "Jupiter's sky turned black," the voice replied. "Our sensors are blind." "Something's moving in orbit. We're picking up." "Static." Lina grabbed the mic. "Calypso, come in. What are you picking up?" More static. Then a strange voice. Not Calypso's. Not human. It spoke in a deep, metallic tone. A language no one had heard. Lina's blood ran cold. "What was that?" No one answered. Outside, the black sky seemed to stretch closer, as if Jupiter was reaching for them. The hum returned, louder than before. Ryland shouted, "Seal the dome! Everyone to shelter!" The crew scattered, alarms blared, doors slammed shut. Lina stood frozen, still staring at the sky. Something was moving inside the blackness. A shape. Huge. Alive. Dr. Lina Moreau couldn't move. Her legs felt locked to the floor. She stared up through the dome, her heart thudding hard in her chest. Above Europa, Jupiter had changed. The planet was now almost fully black, like someone had drained the color from it. And inside that darkness, something was moving. Not clouds, not a storm, something alive. The shape twisted slowly. At first, it looked like a shadow against the black sky. But as it shifted, it caught the light from Europa's sunlit side. Lina saw details, lines that looked like bones, like ribs. A long, curved structure, pulsing slightly. Then it opened. A thin line split down the center of the shape, glowing with a dull red light. Like an eye. Lina gasped and stumbled back. "Lina!" Commander Ryland grabbed her arm and pulled her toward the shelter. "We have to go. Now!" The metal walls groaned as the hum outside grew louder. It wasn't just sound now, it was pressure. Her ears popped. They reached the emergency shelter and slammed the door shut. Inside, the rest of the crew waited. Pale-faced in silent status, Ryland barked. "Still no comms," said Eerie Calypso hasn't come back online. "And," she hesitated, "we've lost contact with Earth." The room fell into silence again. Lina stared at the small screen showing the outside feed. Jupiter filled the screen, but it was not Jupiter anymore. The shape had grown. It now wrapped around the planet like a giant ring. Lights moved along it, red, green, and blue, blinking in patterns. "It's artificial," she whispered. Ryland turned to her. "What?" "This thing. It's not a creature. It's a machine." Eerie frowned a ship. "Not like any we've seen," Lina said. "It's massive, larger than Jupiter itself, and it's doing something to the planet." The feed flickered. Then a symbol appeared on the screen. A circle, inside a triangle, inside a square. It pulsed once. Twice. Then, from outside the shelter, a loud metallic clang echoed through the base. "What was that?" Ryland asked. "Impact," said the engineer, Tomas. "Something hit us." "Damage." Tomas checked his screen. "No breach, but there's movement on the surface." Movement. Tomas pulled up a camera feed from outside the base. Something had landed. It looked like a tall, thin tower. Black metal, covered in lights. It stood motionless on the ice near the base, about 200 meters away. "It wasn't there before," Tomas said. "It came from whatever that thing is." The crew stared at the tower. Then, slowly, it began to open. Panels slid apart, revealing a glowing orb inside. Lina leaned closer to the screen. "The orb was pulsing. It's sending a signal," she said to us. Ryland's face was grim. "Can we understand it?" Eerie worked the controls, trying. "It's not like any language." More like code. The screen filled with strange symbols. Then a single message appeared in English. "We are here to remake. Stand by." Everyone froze. Ryland's voice was low. "Remake what?" No one answered. The lights in the shelter flickered again. Lina felt a strange warmth spreading through the floor. She looked down. The metal was glowing faintly. "We're being scanned," she said. Eerie nodded. "It's everywhere, not just the base." The whole moon outside, the black tower pulsed. The orb inside sent beams of light shooting into the sky. The crew ran to the window. High above, the massive shape around Jupiter was changing. Parts of it were breaking off. Long pieces of metal falling toward the surface of Europa. "Brace for impact," Ryland shouted. The ground shook. A deep rumble echoed through the base. One of the metal pieces crashed into the ice several kilometers away, sending a cloud of steam and snow into the sky. Lina watched, her mind racing. "They're building something," she said on the surface. Using pieces of their ship, Ryland stepped beside her. "Why Europa?" "Why now?" Lina shook her head. "Maybe we triggered it. Our presence here. Or maybe this has been planned for a long time." Another message appeared on the screen. "You will not be harmed. Observe. Learn. Accept." The crew stared in silence. Then the ground split open. A massive crack appeared near the tower. From deep inside the moon, light burst out, blue and white, blinding. Something was rising from the crack. Not ice, not rock. A structure. Smooth, metallic, glowing with the same light as the orb. Lina's voice was barely a whisper. "They're waking something up." Ryland nodded slowly. "And we're not alone anymore." The crack in Europa's icy surface widened, groaning like the moon was crying out in pain. The light from the deep rift turned the dark sky into pale blue daylight. Inside the shelter, the crew watched in silence. On the screen, The massive black tower stood like a sentinel beside the glowing rift. From beneath the ice, something enormous was rising. Lina's heart pounded. Her breath came fast and shallow. The shape emerging from the rift was impossible to describe, a mix of sharp angles and smooth curves, like it was grown and built at the same time. It wasn't just a structure. It was alive. "It's not just a machine," she whispered. "It's something ancient." The rising object pulsed with the same blue and white light. Smaller towers unfolded around it, linking together with beams of light like a web. "Whatever it is," Ryland said, "it's been under Europa's surface for a long time. And they came to wake it up." The message on the screen changed again. "The core has been found. Initiating, remaking." Lina's stomach turned. "The core? Are they talking about Europa's core?" "No," Tomas said, his voice shaking. "Look at the energy readings. That structure is drawing power from Jupiter." Lina stared. "That's impossible." "It's happening," Erie said. "Somehow, they're pulling energy from the planet itself." Quote, on the screen, Jupiter was no longer just black. Swirling lights now moved inside the darkness, like a storm made of electricity and fire, and the massive ring-like ship around the planet began to shift again. Pieces detached, huge slabs of metal and light, falling toward Europa. Each one slammed into the ice, shaking the base. The ground quaked with each impact. "We can't stay here," Ryland said. "We'll be buried alive if this keeps up." "Where do we go?" Erie asked. "The shuttle won't fly. We've got no power, no comms, nothing." Suddenly, the shelter's lights shut off. Total darkness. Lina reached out blindly. "Is this another scan?" Then the room filled with a soft, blue glow. The walls shimmered. Symbols appeared, floating in the air. They matched the ones from earlier. Circle, triangle, square. But this time, the message was different. "Come to the core. You must see." Ryland cursed under his breath. "They're inviting us." "Or ordering us," Lina said. The shelter door slid open. Outside, the path to the black tower was lit by small floating lights, leading directly to the rift. Lina turned to Ryland. "We need to go. Are you insane? They could have destroyed us already if they wanted to. They don't want to kill us." "They want us to witness." Ryland hesitated, then nodded slowly. "We go in pairs. Stay alert. No weapons." The crew stepped out onto the icy surface. The air was thin, but breathable, thanks to their suits. The hum was louder here, rising from the ground itself. As they approached the black tower, the orb inside shifted. A beam of light shot out and scanned them again. Then the tower opened at its base, revealing a tunnel of glowing metal leading underground. Lina stepped in first, followed by Ryland and the others. The tunnel led deep beneath the ice, far below where any human had ever gone. The walls were covered in shifting symbols and patterns. The deeper they went, the warmer it became. After minutes of walking, the tunnel opened into a vast chamber. Lina gasped. Before them stood the core, a massive sphere floating in mid-air, wrapped in bands of light and metal. It pulsed like a beating heart. The walls around it were covered in strange carvings, images of planets, stars, and creatures no one recognized. And above it all, the black shape from Jupiter hovered like a shadow. Then, a voice filled the chamber. Not human, not machine. Something in between. "You have awakened the Watchers. This world will now be remade." Quote, Lina stepped forward. "What does that mean? Why are you doing this?" Images filled the chamber of Earth, Mars, Jupiter. All were darkened, silent. "You have forgotten," the voice said. "We made this system. We planted life. Now it must begin again," Ryland shouted. "We are alive now. This is our home." The voice paused. "You are part of the design. You will be preserved." Lina stared at the core, her mind racing. They weren't just waking up a machine. They were resetting the solar system. And time was running out. The core pulsed faster, sending waves of light through the chamber. The floor trembled beneath the crew's feet. Lina's head spun as more images flashed in front of her eyes. Earth covered in storms, Mars glowing with fire, and Jupiter splitting open like a cracked shell. Lina turned to Ryland. "They're not just changing Europa, they're going to change everything." "Can we stop it?" Ryland asked, his voice tight. Before she could answer, the strange voice echoed again, louder, filling every corner of the chamber. "The remaking begins. The core will awaken." All Lina looked at the crew. Their faces were pale, eyes wide with fear. She could feel something inside her, like a pull, a pressure in her chest. It wasn't just the air or the fear, it was the core itself. It was reaching out to them. Tomas pointed at the sphere. Look! It's scanning us again! Lines of light moved across their bodies, slow and searching. Lina didn't feel pain, but something was changing. She saw memories, her own, flashing in front of her eyes. Her childhood, her first day on Europa, her fear, her hope. They're reading us, she whispered, learning everything. Why? Ryland shouted. What do they want? The voice returned. You are the last generation. Your thoughts, your fears, your dreams will shape the next. Lina stared at the core. It wasn't just a machine, it was a seed. It held the future, and it needed them to finish it. They're not killing us, she said. They're copying us. Erie's voice trembled. You mean, we'll live on in a way, Lina said. But Earth, Mars, everything. They'll erase it all. Tomas backed away. We have to warn Earth. We can't let them. Suddenly, the chamber shook violently. The tunnel behind them collapsed in a spray of light and ice. The way out was gone. Above them, the sky changed again. On the screen, Jupiter cracked open. From its center, the black shape sent beams of light into space. They stretched far beyond Europa, toward Earth. They're starting, Ryland said. They're resetting the whole solar system. Lina stepped closer to the core. She placed her hand on the glowing surface. It was warm, almost alive. Her mind filled with voices, not just one, but many, the Watchers. Ancient minds speaking together. You don't have to do this, she said out loud. Life is already here. We have built, we have struggled, we've made mistakes, but we're alive. The voices paused. Then, your kind has strayed from the design, but your spirit remains. Show us. Lina didn't understand. How? What do you want to see? Your truth, your story. Share it. Lina's thoughts spun. Then, slowly, she reached for her wrist screen and opened her station logs. Videos, journals, notes from every crew member. She uploaded them all into the core. Moments of laughter, pain, dreams, love. The raw story of their lives. The core pulsed again, bright, almost blinding. The hum turned soft. Then, silence. The screen above flickered. Jupiter stopped changing. The black shape froze. The beams of light vanished. And then, the final message. Your truth is enough. The remaking will wait. Lina fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. They weren't destroyed, they were heard. Hours passed. Europa's sky slowly returned to normal. Jupiter's colors came back, the black ring dissolving into space. The base regained power. Comms came online. Calypso answered Europa base. This is Calypso. We see the skies clear. What happened down there? Lina picked up the mic, her voice steady. We made contact. They chose to wait. We have time on the screen, the core floated in silence. Waiting. Watching. Earth was safe. For now. But the Watchers were still out there. And they would return.